Are you considering moving to Central Etobicoke, but you're not quite sure if it's the place for you? Let me show you some of the things that were surprising to me when we moved here, as well as the 7 things you need to know before moving to Central Etobicoke. Etobicoke was a suburban city that stood on its own prior to amalgamation in 1998. It had its own city hall and was governed independently of Toronto. Today, Etobicoke, or West Toronto as I sometimes refer to it, has thrived as more than just a sleepy suburb. There's a wide range of neighborhoods and cultures, and it's divided into 3 areas: Lakeshore, Central Etobicoke, and North Etobicoke. There are so many reasons to love living here. Here are the 7 things you need to know before making a move. Number 1, when we moved here from Thai Park, one of the biggest things that I took note of was the pride of ownership in the area. You are expected to maintain the upkeep of your lawn either by hiring a company or doing it yourself. Lawn care, decks, patios, and landscaping are prominent here. Most homes are well manicured, and more than likely your property will be very generous in size. So get used to cutting grass, raking leaves, weeding, sweeping debris, and clearing snow. Snow clearing and removal from sidewalks and driveways is taken very seriously here. Many people will have the snow cleared within a few hours of snowfall. And in many parts of Central Etobicoke, the city sidewalk plow does clear sidewalks of snow within 12 hours after snow accumulation. The sidewalks are passable in the winter for strollers, pedestrians, and dogs, which is such a bonus for people who live here. Other parts of Toronto probably don't like us for this, so let's keep that one quiet. My second point is that Etobicoke exists within a series of ravine systems and green spaces. The sheer size of these systems means that more often than not, you can enjoy peace and nature without the masses of people trying to get out and get the best Instagram shots. The Etobicoke Creek system is in the furthest west portion of Etobicoke, and it's my personal favorite. It runs from Caledon along Pearson Airport and cuts right through Eringate Centennial, south through Markland Wood, and all the way through Alderwood and Long Branch to Lake Ontario. We also have Mimico Creek in Central Etobicoke, and it runs from north of Mississauga, south through Islington Village, down to Mimico and Humber Bay Park, and it also spills out into Lake Ontario. There are so many homes that have properties that back onto these conservation lands with gorgeous views and woodland settings. These trails and parks are enjoyed by many residents for dog walking, running, biking, and hiking. I was hesitant to share this info with you because here in Etobicoke we don't like masses of people cramming all of our green spaces, but now that you know, you know. I will warn you though, we cannot exist within such a vast green space without living amongst wildlife. Even if you don't have property backing onto these systems, it's super common in all of these neighborhoods to see wildlife regularly. These creek systems serve as corridors for coyotes, deer, and fox. We see rabbits, beavers are common, and so are raccoons and skunks. So if you are not comfortable with wildlife in your front yard, in your backyard, and on your streets, you may have to reconsider that many parts of Central Etobicoke may not be ideal for you. Number 3, one of the biggest draws of Central Etobicoke for our family was the lot sizes. Even in the original Islington community, which is the oldest neighborhood in Central Etobicoke, the lots tend to be larger with spacious yards. In the post-war era, infill housing communities filled in what used to be farmlands here, with spacious low-rise development in Eringate, Centennial, West Dean, Princess Rose Thorn, and Etobicoke West Mall. The planning that went into these neighborhoods included what was considered to be the Canadian dream at the time, which was a yard to relax in, a driveway for your car, and very sizable front yards for meticulous gardens. Another interesting observation about Central Etobicoke that I didn't know until we got here was that many of the homes have pools. With generous-sized lots and family-oriented communities, it's not surprising that a large number of homes offer swimming pools as well. Number 4, let's talk commuting, and let's talk car versus bike versus walking versus transit. Prior to moving to Etobicoke from High Park, I biked and ran everywhere. I only drove if it was absolutely necessary because driving and parking downtown is a nightmare. In Central Etobicoke, driving and parking has come to be something that I'm super grateful for. Etobicoke was built in the post-war era, and its construction coincided with the manufacturing and the ownership of cars. This is reflected in how the area was planned. The streets are wider than downtown, for example, and the houses were built with driveways and garages. During this time, shopping plazas were also being constructed, and they were planned with thought given to ample parking lots to accommodate people who've driven to the store. For me, this is one of the biggest differences I noticed when we moved from downtown. I can get to a grocery store and I can park with ease. I can zip to whatever store I need to get to without any headaches or wasting time in gridlock. It's glorious. But cars do not rule here like some people would think. The wider roads and ample driveways give space for cyclists and kids playing on the roads and driveways as well. And there are kids everywhere here on bikes and scooters, and there's plenty of bike trails spread through many of the neighborhoods for leisurely strolls as well as for traveling to and from work. For bike commuting, the designated bike path on Eglinton West stretches to the Humber River and beyond, and many people use this to head south into the city, and it was a favorite commuter route of mine for many years. As for transit, there are 4 TTC subway stops on the Bloor-Danforth line that run through Western Etobicoke in Toronto. The TTC provides bus services from all of these subway stations. As well, the Eglinton West LRT is currently in development and will be the westerly line that goes across Eglinton from Mount Dennis to Renforth. Number 5, Pearson International Airport is located just outside of the northwest corner of Etobicoke. Technically, it's in Mississauga. With such close proximity to the airport, it's an excellent location for anyone who works at the airport or needs to jump on a flight with little notice. It's also excellent for checking your bags and going home to relax until it's time to get through security. However, there are parts of Etobicoke that see airport traffic. The flight paths are openly published, and you should definitely speak to me about what area you are considering if you are concerned about the flight paths. Residents do not seem bothered by the flights unless there is a major runway renovation, as there has been in the past. The airport authority really does try to respect the residents of Central Etobicoke and keeps flight noise disruptions to a minimum. The next thing you need to know about Central Etobicoke is that not all communities have a main strip or downtown area that anchors the community. When Etobicoke was constructed, industrial, residential, and commercial zoning were all separated. Southern Etobicoke communities, for example, such as Long Branch, New Toronto, and Mimico, all have a commercial business area along the lakeshore. But most Etobicoke communities have smaller concentrations of businesses and restaurants spread out throughout all of our communities. The village of Islington is an exception to this, as this neighborhood dates back to the first settlers there in the early 1800s. It still has a main strip. In other parts of Central Etobicoke, we can generally see that it's malls and local favorites such as Cloverdale Mall and Humbertown that anchor the businesses to the community. As a result, you may think that Etobicoke is lacking in the things that make neighborhoods lovable, but you will find that each neighborhood has its own identity, which leads me to my next point. Whether you are looking for more of a park vibe, more of a luxury neighborhood vibe, or perhaps a golf course vibe, you can find the perfect neighborhood for you in Central Etobicoke. From the leafy, winding streets of Edenbridge, Humber Valley, to the golf course, family-friendly neighborhood of Markland Wood, each neighborhood has its own bonus points and highlights. Trying to determine what parts of Etobicoke are the best for you is a big undertaking, so check out my other neighborhood-specific videos where I highlight all of the neighborhoods in West Toronto. I'll let you in on some neighborhood secrets of the most desirable places to live in West Toronto and what you need to know to call it home. If you have any questions about this video or Central Etobicoke in general, please feel free to reach out. I love it here, and I really want you to as well. Blah, blah, blah.